All right, so this is a video. I'm going to show you guys how to do printing from layouts. We're still in Unit 1 of your intermediate CAD class. So this is the printing from layouts project. There's nothing new that you're going to learn how to do in this project. It's just a compilation of everything you've learned in Unit 1. So one big project where everything happens. One thing I want to point out is a lot of times people jump straight to step 1 to try to do the directions. But the way this is written, a lot of times it'll tell you where to get the drawing file up in that paragraph. So read the instructions. Layoutsproject.dwg. I'm going to come back here. I've already done my title blocks project, so I can close that out. Save. And this time we're going to open. It's called layoutsproject.dwg. It's DWG. It's in your Unit 1 folder. And this is it. You have one layout here. When you come over here to the model tab, does this look familiar to you guys? It should be. It's your final cabin project, except it's a hot mess right now. There is stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. Even if you had found this file in your 1405 class, there was no way you could have cleaned this up and figured it out. But we're going to do that now. You guys have learned all the tools you need for this. So step 1, create layer states. So we're going to create several different layer states on here. There's a few things that I'm going to change from what you see in the book because we need to make one that's all on, floor plan, elevations, and foundation. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I'm going to create another layer state. I think that's all the layer states I need to make. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to open up layer properties, and it says for the all on, just make sure everything is thawed and turned on. So remember, I can just use this, turn all layers on, thaw all layers, looks good. I can make a layer state right now. New layer state, all on, okay. And that's done. Like it was that easy, because you remember layer states just kind of takes a snapshot of what you're looking at right now. The next one, I need to do floor plan. With floor plan, I need to turn off anything that says elevations or foundation. That's all I need to worry about. If it has the word elevation or foundation, I'm gonna freeze those. So I'll come in here, elevation. If you hold down the shift key and click the last one, it highlights everything in between. Freeze that. Foundation, shift. Let's come back over here and look at it and make sure this looks good. So there's my floor plan. Let's come in here. New layer state. What was it supposed to be called?
Floor plan.
Thank you. Floor plan. Let's go set all on, back on. The next thing that we need to do is create one called elevations. In elevations, you'll only see things that have elevations in the name, but always on all of these layers, layers 0, border, and viewports are going to stay on. So I'm going to have only elevations, 0, border, and viewports. Everything else is going to be frozen. So I'm going to come through here, 0 on border, hold down shift until I get to the first word elevations, floor plan. All right, let's look at this and see. So I've got all of my elevations showing, it looks good. I'm going to create a new layer state, elevations. I'm going to go ahead and set all on again. This time, I'm going to create one called foundation. The one called foundation, I'm only going to have the foundation layers on, but again, 0, border, and viewports are going to be on as well. So I'll come through here, 0 borders, good. Foundation. Okay, that's good. So there's my foundation. New layer state. All right, so I like to come through here and just double check myself. All on, elevations, floor plan foundation. So that looks good. Remember, when we're going through this stuff though, you want to always keep all layers on, especially when it comes time to work with your layouts, because a viewport can only see what's in model space, and if your layer is turned off in model space, it's not going to see it. So that's good. We've followed those steps. Now we're going to create a layout. So we're going to create a layout named floor plan. You can rename an existing one. So we'll come over here. We'll call it floor plan. Now it says to do a page setup. So activate the floor plan layout. We're already in it. Page setup manager. Create a page setup named project 1 and click OK. And the page setup, this is what we're going to make a page setup called project 1, and these are the things that we need to have changed in it. So when I right click on floor plan, page setup manager, we're going to create a new page setup manager, or page setup. What was that called?
Project 1.
Project 1. Okay. In this particular project, we can set, it doesn't really matter, we're not printing this, so I think the book says to set it to whatever room plotter you have, so we're in room 3208. Oops, not 9. There it is, 3208. We need to have an 11 by 17 page size, and this needs to be set to monochrome. So we've got 3 different things that we're changing in here: plotter name, page size, and monochrome. We'll say OK to this and close. So we did that. Printer is the classroom, 11 by 17, monochrome. Make sure the plot areas layout, it does that by default, so it was already. Plot scale 1:1, it did that by default. So click on OK to return to the page setup manager. And so it didn't change this just yet. If I go back to my page setup manager, I can click on project 1 and tell it to set it current. So now you can see floor plan, the layout, is using the style called the page setup style called project 1. So close. So I've got this guy right here. That looks good. Next thing we need to do, step 4, is set that PSLT scale to 0. Step 5, add a border and a title block. So we can do that same border that we did last time. I mean, we just did it earlier today. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to set my border layer current. I'm going to do a rectangle. Started at 0.25, comma 0.25, and it was 16 by 10, or you could just eyeball it, just make it, as long as it's inside those margins. I don't really care what size your border is, just as long as it's inside of there. The next thing that we need to do is use the Design Center to go get that title block that we just created. And this project, we're going to use which title block?
Architect.
Yes, so the architectural title block. So if you go to Insert, at the very end, there's your Design Center. And if you happen to have it open already, you could click on Open Drawings, or you can navigate to the folder. It always has C drive open, but I'm going to go to A Fuller, Intermediate, Layout 1, or Project 1, Title Blocks. Now that I'm in that drawing, I can double click here and I can see the blocks that I made over there. So I can grab this block, slide, I'm dragging and dropping in, snap it to that corner. It's popping up and it's asking me what I need here. So this is called floor plan. Make sure you're using all caps. Floor plan. I know from experience, all of these viewports are going to be 3/16 inch equals a foot, but I've done this project a zillion times, so I'm just telling you ahead of time. I'll show you where you can find that. It's got the save date. How come it's not today? I haven't saved this project yet. How come it doesn't have my name? I haven't set myself as the author, so don't back up and type your name over here. Those should stay gray. It just lets you know you need to fill in that stuff. Section number, I already had that. Drawing number, there's going to be 3 sheets, so this is 1 of 3. I'll say okay. I don't need the design center anymore. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And you see how it put in today's date. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself as the author. If I save it. Was I on the wrong one?
Yeah, you're on subject.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I did that on purpose. Good catch. All right, save this, and now it updated with my name there. So it needs to have, when I open this file up, I need to see 2 gray boxes. I need to see that they have the right information, but I still need to see that they're gray boxes so that they're still really fields. Okay, so I did all of this good stuff, got my title block, blah, blah, blah. Create the other layouts. Oh, am I missing something here? On the folders tab, select the blocks. Create the other layouts. So I've got several different layouts. I need to do a foundation and an elevation layout. So I can just copy this now that I've got it. It just isn't working for me today. So let's do move a copy, create a copy. And you can slide these over from side to side to rearrange these. So this is elevations. And foundation. When you make these copies, you may as well go change your title blocks to match. So this is 2 of 3. Foundation. And this one is 3 of 3. So I've got my title blocks updated. May as well go ahead and do that while I'm in here. Now we need to finish the floor plan layout. So reactivate the floor plan layout. If there's already a viewport, you can use that viewport, or you could erase that one and put a new one in. We really only need 1 viewport for this. The floor plan only has 1 viewport to it. So I will just come in here. One thing though, when AutoCAD, when we opened up this drawing, this viewport, look what layer it's on. Layer 0. I want to make sure to remember to put that on the viewports layer. You'll know it's on the right layer when it's hot pink and not black. One of the reasons I didn't get to do this, remember it was blacked out the other day when I was looking at my layer properties, but I want to show you. See how viewports has the little Ghostbusters next to the printer? That means that whole layer won't print, so we're not going to see a line on the paper where that viewport is. So that's why we need it on the viewports layer. And this, honestly, you could just drag it off the page. If it's just 1 viewport, I always drag it off the page. But now we're going to come in here, double click inside the viewport to get into model space. And notice how it's grayed out, or it's really, really light. It's kind of faded out in the background. We do that because this is not, you're not drawing anything. It's provided. You just need to kind of see the ghost of it. If that drives you crazy, you're welcome to come in here. See how we have it faded? You could lower the fading if you wanted to, but you don't really need to. But what we're going to come in here and do is set the floor plan layer state current. Do y'all see how I'm just viewing floor plan right now? Now I'm going to set my viewport scale, 3/16. Oh, you're right. Thank you for that. Everything I just did, I will redo over here. I did that on purpose. Y'all are going to get tired of hearing that. All right, so here we go. Looking good. Come into here. We're going to set it to floor plan. And we're going to set the viewport scale to 3/16 inch equals a foot. Center it right around where you need it. Lock that viewport. And I'm done. I went back into paper space, so I'm completely done with this one. By the way, just to show you how I know, that's where I'm seeing 3/16 inch equals a foot. It's actually in the drawing, so if you forget, it's there. All right, so I'm completely done with the floor plan. The next thing I need to do is the elevations layout. And with the elevations layout, what I need to do is, because notice how those elevations, my front elevation straight up and down, but my side elevation is at that angle. So I need to go create what? A named view for it. So I'm going to come in here, back to AutoCAD, come over here to model, and notice how even though floor plan 1 layout, I was just viewing that layer state, that was floor plan, all my layers are still on here, so that's important to have. But so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on view. And what do I have to do? Do y'all remember the first really important step that I have to do when I start doing a named UCS? Yay, UCS follow. I'm going to set it to 1 so that my screen will turn when I set that UCS current. Now I'm going to do a 3-point UCS. Oops, 3-point UCS. And I like to just use the stairs because that's a nice kind of easy area to click onto. But there's my new origin, my new positive X, my new positive Y. My screen just flipped, so it looks good. Now that I've got that UCS, I'm going to give it a name. Side UCS. I'm going to go to my view manager, create a new one. Side elevation. I'm going to draw a little window around it. And we're just eyeballing it here. We just want to make sure it's kind of just generally that area. I know it's a mess, but you just want to make sure that you zoom into that kind of that area. Uncheck layer snapshot, because remember, unchecking layer snapshot, if you have that checked, if you happen to have any layers on or off right now, they get embedded in that view, and we don't want that to happen. So I'll say okay, and okay. So that's good. I need to be able to get back to the other one. So I'm going to create a second view, and I want to say, the book doesn't say to do this, so we're adding this other view. If you, instead of having to do another 3-point UCS, if you just click on World UCS takes me back to the original default one, so that's what that little globe does. So I don't have to create a named UCS, I can just go straight into my View Manager, New, Front Elevation, kind of draw a little window around it, uncheck that. All right, now that I'm done creating UCSs, what do I need to do? UCS follow, back off. So it's important to remember to turn it on, but also to turn it off. So now I'm going to double check myself and look at side elevation, good. Front elevation, good. I just want to be sure to be able to kind of toggle back and forth between those two. Now that I've got those looking good, I'm going to click on my elevations layout. I'm going to delete this viewport that came with it. I'm going to set my viewports layer current, because I'm about to draw 2 new viewports and I want to make sure they come in on the right layer. All right, I'm going to click on the layout tab. Remember, that's where we got all those fancy layout things. If I go to named, we didn't look at this the other day, but there's some pre-set up layout styles here. And I can do 2 vertical, and I'll draw 1 box and it'll slice that box in half and give me 2 different viewports. So 2 vertical. And again, I'll just kind of like have them hanging off the page here. But notice how I drew 1 window and it split that window into 2 different viewports. This viewport, I'm going to double click inside of here. I'm going to set the, under view, I'm going to go to my front elevation, home. I'm going to set my elevations, layer state current. And then here, I'm going to set 3/16 inch equals a foot. Get it about where I need it right here. Go ahead and lock it. So do y'all see it's hard when it's faded out like that? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see part of the right side, the elevation.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can. So we're going to have to fix that. I'm going to turn this down for the sake of the video. I'm going to turn down those locked layers so they're not faded as much so you can see them on the video. You don't have to do that in real life unless you want to. It doesn't really matter. But at least you can see what's going on better here. So we do see part of it. So we're gonna have to do the viewport clip in just a second. So we clip out the stuff we don't wanna see. Now that we've got this, I'm gonna double click into this viewport. And I am going to do those same things. And these things don't matter. It doesn't matter whether you set your layer state first or whether you set your named view first. You do whatever you want first. For me personally, I like to set it to be side elevation, and then I go do my layer state. And then I set my 3/16 inch. Center it right where I need it. Actually, I'm going to move it up here and show y'all a really cool thing. This is not in the book, but I'll write it up on the board. There is a command and it's called MV setup, and that is short for multi-view setup. So I'm going to actually make these not line up with each other just so I can show you how cool this is. So I'll click out of that. I'm actually going to type in MV setup, and I'm going to align, and I'm going to align them horizontally. Specify a base point. My base point is going to be where? Hold on. Let me be in this viewport because this is the one I want to align it with. MV setup, align, horizontal. Oh, that was the problem, Ashley. You need your O snaps on. But let's set the O snap to like right here. And then right here. And it went and lined them up with each other perfectly. So that's a really, really cool command. It's not in the book, but it is a super awesome one so that you know that your views are perfectly aligned with each other. All right, now that we've got this done, we need to go do that viewport crop. So I need to make sure that my layer state or my layer is set to viewports. I'm going to go to Layout, Clip this viewport first. Press enter, and I'm just going to draw. My O snaps got me. I'm going to turn off my O snaps. Clip this viewport, enter, and this doesn't matter. You're going to see mine is going to be really, really not straight. All I need to do is come in here and clip around the stuff that I don't want to see. C for close. And notice it's an ugly looking viewport, but it clipped out the stuff that I don't want to see. I'm going to do it again. Clip this viewport. I don't have a clipping object. A clipping object was if there was already something clipping out, like a drawn around those things, I could select that and it would take that shape of that object, but I don't have one. I just want to make sure to go around what I don't want to see. C for close, and I've got it. So they're really ugly looking viewports, but they are viewports. They're clipped, they're cropped, or clipped, however you want to say it. They don't see what I don't want to see. They're set to the right scale. They're using named views. They're using layer states. Now I'm going to click over here to the foundation, and I'm going to delete that viewport right there. Yes, sir.
It's gone.
Yep, I deleted the viewport, so it's gone. I'm going to put my own viewport in there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I know it can freak you out. It's pretty important stuff disappeared there. All right, so I'm going to go in here, and notice with this I had 2 vertical I just used. There's 2 horizontal, 3 with a big one to the right, a big one to the left, a big one above, a big one below, 3 perfectly vertical, 3 horizontal, or 4 equal. Those are all the options you have in kind of the pre-set up styles. I'm going to do 3 with the big one to the left. So I'll say OK here. I'm going to draw my rectangle. My big one is to the left. That's where I'm going to have my foundation plan. I've been doing this long enough to know that I need more room for that. So I'm going to use these grips and just bring those viewports. Just give myself more room over here. Double click into this one. I'm going to go to, actually view I don't have to mess with at all. Under home, foundation, set my scale, 3/16. Oh look, I think I even need more room than I gave myself. Go ahead and lock that. See how it's kind of cut off right there? There. And remember, these viewports are really just rectangles with special properties, so you can grip at it the way you would do a rectangle. So that guy looks good. Now I'm going to use this one. Actually, I've been doing this long enough. Do you notice this one's kind of short and this one's really big? So I'm going to actually need more room for that bottom one. Come in here, zoom into it, 3/16. Move it all the way to the top. And now I can get as close as I can to that. Come into this one, 3/16. There we go. Make sure all the viewports are locked. I think I did not lock this last one. Did I not? There we go. So you do want to make sure that all your viewports are locked. And that's it. I've just done this project. So I did the whole entire project. You guys are going to have all day Monday to do this project in your title blocks and to submit it to me. What I'm going to do next, it's 4:15. I'm going to stop recording this video so that you can just see the project. And then I'm going to show you how to submit it on Blackboard, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to grade it. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for when I'm grading it. Okay.